Do you breathe purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
Welcome in, Hoist the Colors. It is Wednesday, August 28th. We are 3 days away from East Carolina kicking off its season against the Norfolk State Spartans inside at Daddy Ficklin Stadium. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, X. If you've got a question, comment, concern, drop it there. We'll get to it throughout the next hour. Philip Pilkington is behind the glass. He is producing today's program. We're going to hear later in the show from a couple of ECU players, Chad Stevens, Mike Edwards, Jake Garcia, and Rahjai Harris. We heard from them after practice on Tuesday. We'll play those interviews and more. And we also just caught up with the coordinators, John David Baker and Blake Carroll, and we'll talk about what their comments were and maybe play some of those cuts if we can get to them towards the end of the show. But we're going to lead off today with another member of the ECU Sports Network. We talked to Macy O'Donnell yesterday, sideline reporter. We're now going to talk to the color analyst on the call with Jim Szoke this year for the home games. He is Kevin Monroe, former ECU defensive back. And Kevin, welcome back to the show. You ready to kick this thing off?
Absolutely.
No doubt, man. It's been a long off season of football talk and the predictions and all this. What do you remember as a player about this time of year, Kevin? Obviously, y'all didn't have, I don't know, the social media aspect of things, but you probably heard the talk. At this point, how ready are you just to hit somebody else?
Yeah, back in the day, we had the Phil Steele magazine that came out every year. And so if you wanted to see the predictions and all the talks from the experts, you go to his magazine or ESPN, and those guys had magazines back in the day. So it wasn't as much social media, maybe some online chatter. But as a player, you just get so used to hitting each other and going through all those scrimmages of just, tackling your own players. You wanted to hit somebody else. And so you get to this time of the year, you get really antsy to play some football against another team.
Kevin Monroe is with us. So remind the audience, Kevin, you've been doing the color analyst thing on the Sports Network for quite some time. What year is this for you? Do you know?
Yeah, I think this is my 22nd year. I started the fall of 2003. So I think this is my 22nd season, and started the first 3 years as a sideline reporter. They made some changes to the broadcast and needed a new sideline reporter. Marty Fuhrer at the time went up in the booth, become the booth host. And so I went down on the sidelines. And so I didn't know much about the job or what I was doing, but I had done some pregame work and the radio folks knew that I was pretty good on the pregame show, and so they asked me to do it. And so, so that was the fall of 2003. And after 3 years on the sidelines, I was called up to the booth. Carlos Crumpler Sr. retired, and they asked me if I wanted to do the color commentating job. So I've been doing that for the last, 19 years. And obviously all of those but one with Jeff Charles, and it was a big hit to all of us for him to pass away. And so, last year with Jim Szoke, it was good, but it was different. He's different from Jeff. He doesn't get as excited as Jeff would get it sometimes, but he's good at his job, and he knows what he's doing. And so we'll be back together again this year.
No doubt. And, I mean, it doesn't feel real that Jeff Charles is not with us anymore. I think it's just hard to believe, hard to fathom at times. And, definitely year two with Jim Szoke, who we know is a great guy. How much more comfortable is it this year going into year two with Jim, Kevin, from the standpoint of at least you know him? And, I mean, let's be real, that was one of the worst seasons in ECU history. So you guys, if you can get through that, I think you can get through anything.
That's right. My first few years in the booth with Jeff, I just was always on pins and needles because I didn't want to step on him because, he's the voice of the Pirates. And so I would let him, say everything he had to say, and there might be a break in the conversation. And then I would say something, and as I got more comfortable learning him and learning how to jump in there when he was done talking, we got in kind of a rhythm. And so kind of the same thing last year. I had to get into a rhythm with Jim, except for it was a little bit different. Now he was like, all the players, the program, the history, the tradition. You talk as much as you want, and I'll fit in from there. I'll say my part, but then you just go. And so I probably talked more last year than I had in any previous season. But now he's been at it for a year. He's been able to get an off season under his belt. He knows the coaching staff and the players, and so I expect it to be more give and take this year, and us to have a better rhythm. But yeah, it was a tough year, and when you get to those games, luckily there weren't a ton of blowouts because there was the John Thompson era were bad seasons, and they were all blowouts. And so Jeff and I would just be sitting in the box talking about wrestling and everything else we could think of outside of the football game. And so this year, at least, even games like Tulane, it was a tough opponent, but we were in it the entire game. And so for the most part, we were in every game, even the Michigan game. I mean, it's 30-3, but it felt like the Pirates were in the game most of the time. And so we had to focus on the ball game and the players and what was going on. And hopefully this year will be more of the same. The Pirates will be in every game and hopefully on top of most of them.
Kevin Monroe, former ECU DB with us, also the color analyst on the ECU Sports Network. All right, Kevin, so a lot of changes this offseason for ECU football, specifically on the offensive side. The defense returns a lot of key personnel. New OC, John David Baker in. What did you make of Mike Houston's offseason from your vantage point?
In this day and age, you have to be active in the transfer portal. I've got a son. Hopefully, wants to play high school or college football one day, and so he's paying attention to all the recruiting, transfer portal, and so these coaches, it's a mixed bag. They have to replace certain positions like offensive line and receiver with guys that are ready to play right now. Those are plug-and-play type positions. Linebacker is another one of those, defensive line, DB. And so you go find the best guys you can in the portal and get them to replace anybody that you may have lost in the portal or lost to graduation or just as an upgrade. And so I think the Pirates have done a good job of that. Over the years when this thing kind of first transpired, the Pirates would get a guy, a running back from Tennessee or a defensive back from Auburn, and they just didn't always pan out. They were just big-name schools, but maybe there was a reason why those guys weren't playing at those schools. I think the staffs have gotten better at assessing players, how good they are, and watching film, and they know what they're getting when they get them instead of it just being a guy from a big-name school. And so I think they've had a good offseason. I think these guys have gotten a chance to come in, get some good reps, get some good scrimmages under their belt, show what they showed at their previous schools. It starts at the quarterback position with two brand new guys from new schools. So I think that recruiting will hopefully pay off, and I think they're pretty active.
Jake Garcia named the starting quarterback a few weeks ago over Caden Hauser. At the time, a little bit of a surprise, Kevin, because Hauser committed a month earlier. He was actually the first transfer to commit, so a lot of people just kind of assumed, hey, he committed first. He started a lot last year at Michigan State on an up-and-down situation. He would be the starter. Jake Garcia comes in. He beats him out, at least initially. What did you make of that news? And I would say from my perspective, watching practice, they're pretty even. Garcia's a little older. I don't know how much that had to do with it, but what did you make of that?
Yeah, I thought it was. I wouldn't say I was surprised because I just didn't know. I didn't know which way they would go. I'm happy that the entire time John David Baker and Coach Houston said we're going to pick a guy. It might be the week before this, but we're going to pick a guy. I don't think anybody wanted to go into the season thinking, oh, it might be this guy this week and this guy next week, and we'll keep interchanging them until somebody steps up. I was glad they picked somebody, and I'm going to give them credit for assessing during the off season, assessing during the preseason camp. And making a call. I think, Garcia coming out of high school was very highly touted, goes to Miami, has a starter so there, plays pretty well, plays some different games in 2022. He's always completed a 60% clip or better. So I think they like what they saw from his accuracy. And now that he's, 3 or 4 years into this thing, he's got that experience. And where Hauser, started, some games last year as a freshman, did well, won some games, but he may not have as much experience as Garcia, and I think maybe that gives him the nod. So it was really just they needed Hauser to be a lot better than Garcia in order to play him ahead of him, and maybe they were just so even that they went with more experience.
I guess in an ideal world, they both play in the opener from the standpoint of ECU's up by enough that you get Hauser in there late. And, Coach Houston, I asked him after they named Jake Garcia the starter, I was like, all right, you guys have said all along you plan to give the number one a long leash so he's not looking over his shoulder. He said that is the case with Jake Garcia. I guess the question becomes, Kevin, how true is that if they get into game action, ODU app, and the offense struggles? I don't know. Do you feel like they still got to be patient with Garcia?
That's a great question. I think they'll be patient to an extent. If it is we went through a season last year, Igo, and I'm sure you would agree, where the quarterback was a big part of the reason the offense didn't move the ball. And so I think they won't go through another year of that. They can tell, hey, these receivers are getting open. Hey, the offensive line is holding up. We're not completing passes, or we're not making the right reads. we got to make a change. And Coach has never lost the way he lost last year, and I know it weighed on him. He's not going to sit back and let Garcia, run the offense into the ground. I don't think that's going to happen. But if he went out, 6, 7 straight quarters of bad football, I think that leash would get shorter and shorter, knowing that you got a guy like Hauser that started in the Big Ten, can make some throws, has that experience under his belt with the pressure. I think they'd bring him in. And they're not going to sit back and just lose ball games by, trying to get Garcia to get it done.
Kevin Monroe with us, former ECU DB and the color analyst on ECU Sports Network. What are your expectations, Kevin, for the opener from the offense? Like, do you try to hold some things back? You're playing Norfolk State, you're 33-point favorites or whatever. I mean, part of me is like you want to go out and set the tone and show that this is a new era. Part of me is also like, well, you just want to play it kind of vanilla because you got some important games to follow. So what do you think the balance is like there from the coach's point of view?
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Norfolk State. I think vanilla should get it done. And by that, I mean they should be able to line up and run it 3 times and get a first down. They should be able to get 3.5 yards a pop against this Norfolk State defensive line and linebackers. They should be able to line up and throw, basic hitch routes and slant routes and go routes and beat these corners one-on-one or beat the zone offense or the zone defense and make some plays. So I'm not saying they shouldn't, open it up and go crazy. You do some of that just so you're used to running your offense. But I don't think that it's going to take a whole lot of misdirection and things like that to get first downs against Norfolk State. Now, they held up pretty well against a good FAMU team. I think they'll be coming in fired up, and the Pirates have certainly lost to a James Madison or North Carolina A&T in the past years by taking them lightly and not playing up to their level of ability. But I think this Norfolk State team may not have the depth or the guys up front, either offensively or defensively, to hold up against East Carolina if they're playing the way they should.
Offensively, Kevin, there are some familiar names back: Rahjai Harris, Javius Bond, Chase Sowell, who I think may miss the opener but should be back early in the season if he does. They brought in some transfers. Winston Wright from West Virginia, former All-Conference guy. Anthony Smith from NC State's had a really good camp. Looks like he'll start at outside receiver. Anybody offensively you're looking to see in specifically on Saturday, or you just want to see some points in the ball moved?
Well, I think you definitely got to establish a running game first. I mean, the offense goes as the running game goes because it sets up the pass and it keeps teams from stacking the box against you. And so I want to see Rahjai back healthy, and I miss the thunder and lightning that we had with Rahjai and Keaton, back when they were both healthy. And so Javius Bond gives you that. He gives you that lightning, that explosion. He also can run through tackles as well, but he's a guy that can, make moves in a phone booth. And so I want to see Rahjai and Javius get going early and then hit him with the pass. Yeah, I'm excited about Winston Wright, Anthony Smith. I know these are guys that we've heard good things about, come from good programs. And so I want to see what they can do. And then your quarterback, you want to see how accurate he is. He's put up good numbers in the past, and now he's got to do it in this system. So get the run game going, and then let's let these young guys get after it on the outside and see if we can complete the pass.
Defensively, a lot of personnel back. Well, let's start with Savone Rebel, who, played corner, position you're very familiar with, Kevin. And, I mean, you go out to practice a game, he just looks like an NFL corner. He's 6'3", he's long, he's lean. Multiple scouts are out there every day watching him. I think recently there was a draft expert that had him number 12 overall on the big board, early big board for next year's draft. So just having him back and him turning down other opportunities, what does that mean to the ECU defense?
I mean, wow, I think it's pretty incredible. He had, I think 12 pass breakups last year, an interception, and he didn't get a whole lot of people trying him a bunch. But to get a corner from East Carolina University to be so highly touted is rare. I mean, we've had quarterbacks and running backs and other skilled offensive position players get a lot of love, but on the defensive side of the ball, specifically in the secondary, you have to be dynamic to get that kind of attention. You might have to have 7 or 8 picks or something like that. But just his size and speed, I think, is what's gotten the attention of these NFL scouts because, as starting with Randy Moss, the first guy that was 6'5", 6'6", and could run a 4.3, all of a sudden, all of these NFL GMs were like, wait a minute, we got to start getting bigger, faster corners. And so it started to matter. You don't see as many 5'8" corners as he used to. And so you're going to these bigger guys. And so to have a guy like him over 6 foot tall that can run, that can move laterally, he can shut down a third of the field. And I think that's what the Pirates are expecting from him. And just the aura, right? You have that aura about you. All of a sudden, quarterbacks and offensive coordinators don't want to try you because they've heard so many good things. And that's going to help the defense be better. That's going to help the other safeties and corners because they know the teams are scared to throw that way, and they're going to get more attention on their side.
Defensively also, I mean, you've got the defensive front basically fully back, and these guys have been doing it for 3, 4, 5 years in many cases. And secondary, there are some new pieces around Savone, but you also, have some experience returning there, guys who have played a little bit. So, I don't know, Kevin, my expectations for the defense are very high. Look, it may look a little different this year with the scores. The games may be higher scoring because the offense may score, therefore forcing the opposing team's offense to do a little more. But I think this defense has a chance to be special. I guess we'll see on game day, but what are your overall thoughts on this unit?
Yeah, there's no doubt. In my mind, the best hire, the best decision that Mike Houston's made in his tenure was Blake Harrell. I mean, he's come in and he took a defense that was struggling beyond belief and completely flipped on its head in the span of a season. And, even when the Pirates were playing bad, they were in every game. They only gave up 22 points a game last year, 120 on the ground, 220 through the air. And that's what the offense put them in bad situation after bad situation after bad situation. So this defense, with this defensive line, Stevens and Morris, and Johnson coming back in the up front, and Edwards at linebacker, and we already talked about Ravel and Huff back there at safety. Like this is a defense that has experience and that have a great scheme and are well coached. I expect them to shut down a lot of opponents they're going to see this year. Starting off with Norfolk State because Norfolk State is so one-dimensional. I mean, I think they attempted 9 passes against FAMU, 43 runs, something like that. And so you can't come into a game against an FBS opponent and be one-dimensional. So I hope that they're going to, break out some passing game and show us that they can stretch the field that way. But if they try to line up and run it right at the Pirates, it's going to be a long game for them.
Kevin Monroe is with us. A few more things, Kevin. We'll get you out of here. The 99 team, which you were a big part of, will be honored on September 28th against UTSA. That should be a big game, conference opener. The Roadrunners expected to compete for the conference championship. But also family weekend should be a good crowd. And I know you obviously have been around the program, been a part of it. So many guys with that team. We're scheduled to have Mark Yellock on tomorrow. He's another guy who was with that team. And, some of those guys, some have been a part of the program for the past several years, some have not. So what will it be like and what will it mean to you guys to kind of get back together for that game?
I'm super excited to see a lot of guys. I keep in touch with quite a few guys. I mean, I didn't move away very far, just kind of in the Raleigh area. So a lot of the guys are around. I see, I'll talk to Forrest Foster quite a bit, Jeff Carr, Andrew Bays. I keep in contact with those guys. Keith Stokes and I will talk from time to time on social media. Norris McCleary I saw recently. So a lot of guys I'm in contact with, but a lot of guys I haven't seen in a long time. I haven't talked to Yellock in a while. So it'll be exciting to get an opportunity to see those guys. Obviously, it's not just the seniors from the 99 team. It's that whole team. And so, all the way down to the younger guys. So it's a ton of guys I haven't seen in a while. And, that was one of those seasons that was just special. Like we came into it knowing that we were going to be good, knowing that we were going to have one of the best defenses in the country. And at offense, we had all the tools, but we had a second-year starter in David Garrard who was only a sophomore. And so we just needed to make sure that he was fine, that he was comfortable, that we blocked and held up for him. And I told this story a couple times, but, Coach Logan came up to us. We had this kind of a team leadership council. I think Coach Houston does the same thing with certain players. And a leadership council built up of starters and juniors and seniors in the program that people looked up to. And it was myself and Sherman Lacewell and Pernell Griffin and Jeff Carr, Forrest Foster. I think Lamont Chappell was in that group. And he came to us before the season started. He said, listen, guys, we've got a tough 4 games. We open up with West Virginia. We've got Duke. We've got South Carolina. We've got Miami. He's like, all big-time programs, all have good teams right now. If we can win 2 out of those 4, we'll set ourselves up to be really, really good this year and go into the conference with a chance to win it and make some noise. And, after that meeting, we kind of got together as players, and we were like, I love Coach's energy, but that sounds crazy. Why would we go into it expecting to lose 2 of those first 4 games? We want to win them all, whether it happens that way or not. That's our plan. And so that's what we set out to do. And obviously we go out and win all 4 games. We win the 5th one, I think, was against Army. And so we go into that Southern Miss game 5-0, and I think ranked in the top, 15, 16 in the country, feeling great. And obviously we end up dropping that game, but just a great season, great regular season, finishing 9-2. With an opportunity to play in a bowl game. It's something I'll never forget, and it's one of the best teams, I think, in ECU history.
No doubt. Looking forward to that game and the chance to honor that team. Great thing that ECU Athletics is doing for the 99 squad. All right. Give me the scouting report on Marcus Monroe, Kevin. Your son, you mentioned him earlier, North Raleigh Christian Academy, class of 2026. Give us the scouting report on Marcus Monroe.
He's big, he's strong, he's a good route runner, and he's got some of the best hands that you'll find. I played with Troy Smith in high school and college, and I'll go out on a limb and say Troy has the best hands of any receiver that I've ever seen, and my son is not far from him. He doesn't drop passes. He has great tracking ability. Just got to get a little bit faster. He doesn't run as fast as he probably needs to at this time, but he's working on it like crazy. And he's 6'3", 200 pounds. So he's kind of in between that wide receiver, tight end slot there. If he gains 25 pounds over the next year and a half, he could end up being a tight end, or maybe he slims down and puts on a little bit more speed, and he'll be that deep threat. So we'll see. But he's definitely a Division I player. We'll just have to see how it pans out. He's off to a good start so far this year at North Valley. Had a touchdown last game, 70 yards receiving, five or six catches. So. He's playing well, and the team uses him as a focal point, so that's good. So he's going to get his opportunity.
Awesome. Looking forward to following Marcus Monroe. We'll keep you up to date here on Hoisted Colors about his recruitment and more. Kevin, hey, this was great stuff. We're going to have you be a part of the show as much as possible this year. I know you're busy with your normal job along with your sideline or your reporter duties on game day in the booth. So appreciate your time, and always good to catch up with you, man.
Anytime I go, I appreciate it.
That is Kevin Monroe. We will be right back on Hoist the Colors. We'll hear from some current Pirate players on the other side.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Pirate game days, there's nothing like them. The atmosphere, first down, the tradition, the matchups, the magical finishes. Be a part of Pirate Game Days. Season tickets are as low as $115. Reserve your seat today to be a part of the experience of Pirate Game Days at Dowdy Ficklen Stadium this fall.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Arr, matey!
Back to the show with Steve and I go on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the colors on this Wednesday, August 28th, 3 days away from game day at East Carolina. Appreciate Kevin Monroe. He will be inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium for the game against Norfolk State. We got some questions. Full disclosure, we had to record that earlier, so I couldn't ask Kevin during the interview, but I'll try and get to some now. We're going to run some player audio here in a second. Robert wants to know, are there a few early season interceptions expected with new quarterback and receivers running option routes? We touched on this a lot on the Hoist the Colors podcast yesterday. Check that out. We really dove into the weeds of what to expect from this offense, but I'll just say this. Be patient with the offense. It's not all going to click overnight, but I also expect some explosive plays and some mistakes. So I think you'll see a balance there. Ralph says it's been 19 years, hard to believe for Kevin Monroe. It is crazy. And he also says Norfolk State's offense looked gassed near halftime. I think we will be better conditioned, looking like a big second half for us. Yeah, night kickoff Norfolk State had, and in Atlanta it'll be closer to daytime, but still an evening kickoff, but expect to be 90 degrees at kickoff. So we'll see how both teams handle the heat on Saturday. All right, we'll talk.
90 doesn't sound bad. That's 3 degrees cooler than it is inside our studios right now.
Yeah, I feel bad for Philip Pilkington, who is producing. That is the voice of Philip. I walked in there. He was cutting up a bunch of audio and everything earlier, Philip, and I sweated just by walking through the door over there because you got all that equipment, and I've got a fan blowing directly on me. I don't know about you.
There's a thing it's here, but it's not like it doesn't stretch far enough to get to me. I mean, it's helping a little bit, but yeah. It's still 93 degrees in there. The air conditioning company brought in fans to help us. Yeah, it's still 93 degrees. Get your rear ends over here if you're listening.
Hopefully,
you shouldn't be listening. You should be working.
Hopefully we can get that fixed sooner than later because it is tough. All right, let's hear some audio. Let's hear from QB1, Jake Garcia. We caught up with him. You can hear the full interview, 94.3 The Game. We're going to play a little snippet of it now. Here's Jake Garcia after Tuesday's practice talking about the opener against Norfolk State.
Jake, how do you just kind of describe the emotions of you guys have worked all offseason for this moment now? This game's almost here.
Right, yeah, it's an exciting time. I definitely say it's an exciting time. We're out here just, trying to stack days, right? And we've been doing that since the spring, really since January, right, with mat drills. And throughout the fall, all throughout the summer, and just keep stacking days, and we want to go into it full throttle and with all confidence, and it's an exciting time, man.
How do you obviously, I'm sure you see the emotion tick up from the guys week, but also like you don't want to, start doing things different just because it's game week, maybe. How do you find that balance?
Yeah, you just got to be consistent. I think you just have to be consistent in what you're doing. Consistent with your job, knowing your job, and I think there's a saying that like I've been around, right? Been different places, and over at Miami, Coach Feld, the strength coach, used to talk about emotional consistency, right? And that's been the same guy every day, right? Every day that you come in, you want to be the same guy, so everybody knows what they're going to get out of you, and you know how to bounce back from adversity and turn the page quick, right? I think that it's important that we keep that. And don't do anything extra. Just do your job, and things will fall in place for us.
What would you say the strength of Jake Garcia's game is as a quarterback?
I'd say definitely being in my system, being good at what I'm supposed to be doing. I think that's the most important thing as a quarterback, is to be good at what you have to do at your job, right? And how to operate within certain plays. But I would definitely say that a strength of mine is as a quarterback, I think to make the people around you better. I think to make your receivers better, your offensive line better, your running backs better, and also the defense. That goes for the defense too, right? We've been going against each other, against the defense every day, right, since spring and fall and the whole deal. So, now coming together as a team, it's going to be fun to put it together. But, I think that'd be my strength is, obviously playing, like I said, just like pushing the ball down the field and getting the ball in the fast guys' hands right now, right, and being able to make decisions. But definitely as a quarterback, I think my strength is making the people around me better.
Coming in as a new quarterback, what message do you kind of want to show to fans about what this new offense is going to look like this year and where it can improve?
You mean in terms of the first game?
Yeah.
We just want to play fast, right? We want to play our ball, and that means executing at a high level and taking what they give us, being smart, me being smart, us being smart on the perimeter, us being smart up front, and in the backfield, and we just want to show that we're an explosive offense, right? We want to show that we can put up points, and that our defense we're gonna play complementary football, right? So that's what we want to show our first game.
There's Jake Garcia, quarterback 1. He will make his first start since the 2022 season, just his second career start in college football, but he has been around, as he said. He's been in different situations, and we'll see how he handles game day at East Carolina. Big step in his career on Saturday against Norfolk State. Steve Hill on Twitter, got to give him credit for this one. 94 degrees the game. It is that hot in the studio with the AC not working. Well done, Steve Hill. Appreciate your contributions.
Yeah, I like that. That was creative. It was simple, but I didn't even think about it. That was good marketing tool. I like it.
Yeah.
We're going to steal that from him.
I like it a lot. He did well. All right. Rahjai Harris, I tell you what, man, he could put a smile on our faces even in 94-degree weather. He walks in, he lights up a room, just a great guy to talk to. So here's Rahjai Harris ahead of the season opener.
How many of my guys you got in this room?
I got a lot in here. I ain't gonna lie, I got a lot. Y'all doing all right?
Yeah. Great questions. Rahjai, it's been obviously a long offseason, man. Just how do you kind of describe your emotions to get ready for the opener?
Man, I'm excited, man. I'm ready. Shoot, I couldn't even sleep last night, man. I'm ready for a Tuesday practice, man. So I know my emotions up there. I know the team emotions up there, man. You can just feel it. You can feel it at practice. You feel the energy. Everybody ready to go.
You've always said this summer about how fast the offense is.
Mm-hmm.
The more you guys do it, has it gotten faster?
Yeah, it's kind of like a rhythm thing. Once you get that rhythm going, you just pushing tempo then. But, yeah, it's super fast. You got to really be well-conditioned to be in this offense.
Speaking of condition, you look like you've slimmed down a lot. Are you getting any faster?
Eating my broccoli, man. Come on. But, yeah, man, I'm about 212, 213. I lost a lot of body fat this offseason again, man. I'm all about my body and my mind. So, man, I've just been working on that this offseason, getting that prepared. I'm ready to go.
Coach says you look like the old Rahjai.
Oh, man.
How are you feeling health-wise?
Man, I'm feeling great, man, 100%. This is probably my first season being 100% since senior year in high school. So, man, I'm excited just to be out there and just see how fast I can really go. You feel me? Because I really ain't felt this fast in a long time. So, you feel what I'm saying? Going out here Saturday against a good Norfolk State team would be a real good test for me.
What do you see on tape of that Norfolk State defense?
Oh, man, they really aggressive, man. They get to the ball. They chase that ball, man, and that front. Hey, don't take it for granted, you feel what I'm saying? Don't think because they're a little lower division that, you feel what I'm saying, they going to come in here and just give it to us, you feel what I'm saying? You seen the game the other day. They run to the football, they attack the football, and shoot, them boys play hard.
You know, last year you had to wear the brace and come up with these. Do you feel like freed up this year, just not having
Yeah, I just feel like 2-3 pounds is off my leg, man, and shoot, that's always great, you feel what I'm saying? So, looking to break a lot this year. Get to show off my speed a little bit since people think I ain't got it. Man, I'm excited. Like I said, man, I'm just ready to go out there and do it.
What are some of your goals personally that you want to accomplish this season?
I'm not a real big goal person for myself, but I do want to get in that end zone a lot. That's really one of the goals, just get in the end zone a lot. And just, go over there with my daughter because she sit down there in the boneyard. So go celebrate with her.
You know, for you, Rahjai, this opening, how important is it for you as a senior to set the tone for the season and get off to a good start?
Man, it's very important. I don't remember the last time we had like a home game other than state, but it's really important, man, just to go out there and set the tone because this game is going to set the tone for the whole year. You feel what I'm saying? To send a message to the whole conference. You feel what I'm saying? So everybody got to be locked in, which they is. Everybody in the locker room, everybody upstairs. And shoot, bro, let's go do it. Let's go do it.
Can you talk about the chemistry you've developed over this offseason with Jake coming in as a transfer?
Yeah, man, we built the chemistry with all three of the QBs, man, because you never know. You feel what I'm saying? Jake is our guy. We rooting for him, but you just never know what happens. So building that chemistry with all three of them, it's built the whole offense. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, them guys ready to go. They leading us, and we right behind them. We ready to do it.
Hey, Philip, you feel what I'm saying?
I do.
Rahjai's got a little Donnie Kirkpatrick in him.
He does. Donnie would say that a lot.
Donnie hit the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Quite a bit.
But the problem is Donnie, he would like start answering your question. Then he would like talk about something random for a minute and a half. And then he'd come back and answer your question again and then say, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I do know what you're saying with what I asked. But whatever that was in the middle.
Don't know what you're saying.
Don't know what you're talking about. But okay, cool.
Definitely miss Donnie. JDB today, 6 minutes. 6 minutes, 30 seconds. We'll hear a cut from him later. We're going to hit some more players next. Let's go ahead and get a break in. We will hear from John David Baker, the new ECU offensive coordinator, later in the show, along with Blake Carroll if we have time. We will hear from a few defensive players on the other side. We'll hit that. This is Hoist the Colors.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Hey Glenn, let's talk about a new program at Greenville Nissan.
Sure, sometimes bad things happen to good people, like credit hiccups.
Greenville Nissan just rolled out credit forgiveness.
If you've been making consistent car payments and you're tired of that high interest rate, this program is for you.
Get into a new Nissan with a manageable payment and keep that cash in the bank.
Come visit us at Greenville Nissan and drive your Nissan home today.
Hurry, this program ends September 3rd. Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
The Pirates play here. Arr! This is Hoist the Colors Radio with Stephen Igo.
Yes! That was so good!
On 94.3, The Game.
All right, welcome back in, Hoist the Colors. I almost missed the return from break there. Philip Pilkington producing. I was about to go on a tangent. All right, let's get to more of these player interviews so we can hear from JDB and Blake Carroll towards the end of the show. Defensively, we talked to a couple of seniors. Chad Stevens is a rare sixth-year senior, COVID, redshirt, all that stuff. He is one of the leaders of the defensive end. Here's what he had to say after Tuesday's practice.
Chad, 6-year final go-around. What are kind of your emotions like as you approach your season opener?
Yeah, man, it's crazy just going to the locker room, talking to some of the older guys, Sue, E, Tay, Mike. This is our last go-around, so we definitely want to make it special.
You know, for you guys, there's been kind of a narrative, all right, if the ECU defense is good like last year and the offense improves, the team could be good. How have you guys defensively kind of kept that edge, like you aren't satisfied with last year?
Yeah, last year gone, so it's fun to talk about. You know, we had those memories. Some are good, some are bad. But it's a new year, and Coach Harrell, I know my position room coach, Zach, who's new, he preaches that every day. You know, today is a new day. This year is a new team, so we got to go out there and prove it. We can't just live off last year.
Looks like on Saturday, Norfolk, a lot of inside zone, 5.3 yards to carry. They're going to come downhill and get after you guys. How are you excited to play such a tough, hard-nosed team?
Yeah, we love that. That's what up front, we pride ourselves on stopping the run, so we're ready for it. Yeah, we're ready for the.
You and JD, how do y'all help each other play off each other defensively? Because you're obviously both good players.
Yeah.
How do y'all push each other?
We pick each other's brains every day. I might be out there doing something. He might come tell me, hey, do it this way. He gave you this look, and vice versa with me to him. We go out there and compete every day. We cheer each other on, and we just want to see each other go out there and, compete and win.
How much do you and talk to Coach Harrell, get us on the field at the same time?
Yeah, man. That's been a talk for a couple years. Hopefully it happens this year because I think it'll be fun to see for sure.
You've been here 6 years. Will you still get butterflies on Saturday, do you think?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Starting with the Pirate Walk, the drive to the Pirate Walk, seeing all the fans on the side of the road, cheering on the bus. That Pirate Walk, getting in the locker room, going out for pregame, seeing, the kids line up and shaking their hands, coming out. Purple Haze, I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything.
How important is it to start this year fast, kind of set the tone on Saturday for, a good season and everything?
It's huge. Coach Houston has been preaching one game at a time, 1 week at a time. So we got to get that bad taste out of our mouth from last year, go out here and get a win, show who we are offensively and defensively, special teams, and get the ball rolling.
You talked about on defense how the passes in the past for you guys. Is there anything you want to specifically carry over and kind of repeat this year as far as your strengths on the defensive side of the ball?
Oh, yeah, everything. It starts with the run. Coach Harrell preaches it. To be a good defense, you got to be able to stop the run. So we plan on doing that every week. And I know our back-end guys are working to, do their part too. So just continuing the physicality, communication, and film study, all that. Yes, sir.
There is Chad Stevens, sixth-year senior, another senior on the defensive side of the ball that I feel like gets a little overlooked. Mike Edwards III transferred in from Georgia Southern ahead of the 2022 season, has quietly worked his way up from special teams guy to part-time defensive player to now full-time starting inside linebacker. 575 defensive snaps last year he played. So a lot of work, and he had over 60 tackles. Here's Mike Edwards, his first time at the podium with us in the media.
Is it kind of surreal that it's your senior year already, man?
Nah, for real. It's been crazy when I've been thinking about it, since fall. Really, spring, I've been thinking about it. It's been crazy. My 4 years straight, I ain't never redshirted or nothing, so it's been a crazy journey.
How would, as you look back on that decision and come to ECU, would you change a thing, or has it been kind of a blessing and everything?
Oh, no, I wouldn't change a thing. I love it, all the guys here, the coaches and stuff. I feel like I really made, a home here. I call these guys families for real, like brothers. At any time of any day, I call these guys, laugh, joke with them, anything. So I wouldn't change nothing. Nah.
What makes this group so special?
I would say just the brotherhood. For real. I feel like everybody really want to get better each and every day. Everybody's there for each other. We want to see guys be great. You'll see seniors trying to tell a freshman, do this, do that, because we want to see him do the same thing I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it is, the work ethic and the want to for each other.
As a senior, how important is it to set the tone Saturday that, this year it's going to be different from last year, and you guys are going to be a good team and everything?
I think it's a big thing I should do as a senior because, last year it was a disappointing season for us, everyone, fans included. I feel like we got to come set the tone, let everybody know that we here and we back to the old Pirates. That last year was a hiccup. That ain't us for real.
How important is eye discipline going to be this week? Their quarterback looked pretty mobile on Saturday, as well as obviously got to defend the run because they run downhill. Yeah. With all their counters and stuff, I think you got to be real disciplined with the eye because you got to be able to catch the guards coming back, especially as a linebacker. So being eye discipline going to be a big key, especially on the back end too, with they switch first and stuff like that.
You and Zakai, how much do you all play off each other at linebacker, especially with him having the helmet, Mike? So you kind of lean on him.
Nah, for real, that make it so much easier. But outside of the mic, though, me and Kai, I feel like I can call him my brother, like everybody else. But me and Kai, we got a special connection. I used to even want him last year when I was playing with Taylor. I wanted to play with Kai at times because my boy Kai knew he could play good ball. And I can't wait because y'all gonna see this 3-3 gonna ball. He gonna show y'all something. Watch, trust me.
for you, you play, Sam, Will. Like, how much does that versatility and knowing kind of different spots help you?
I think it's a big factor because, it helps me know, like, what that guy doing. Sometimes I understand, like, okay, I understand maybe the Sam in the fit this play, or I got the buck or the free safety in the fit, so I got to hold this gap a little bit longer because he's farther or whatever, stuff like that.
You still going to try and get on special teams this year?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, come on. Now, I got to do that. Little kickoff, little punt. That's my favorite, too, right there. Yeah.
Is that just because you get to hit people in the open field more so?
Come on now. You can't beat that. That's the name of the game.
What are the fans going to see for this defense on Saturday?
I think y'all going to see a real physical defense, having fun, and flying around and creating turnovers, like legit turnovers. Like last year, y'all probably did see us flying around having fun, but this year I feel like the turnovers really going to come in bunches. Like y'all going to see that for real this year.
All right, there's linebacker Mike Edwards III. Gotta love it, Phillip, when a dude is willing to play special teams and be a defensive starter. He wants to hit somebody, man, and that's what I love.
I do, man. He's clearly not lost that energy since his freshman year. Like I said, he's one of the oddities, right? He's a fourth-year senior, especially during the COVID era. You don't see many of those, but a lot of guys red shirt. And look, he's one of those guys you kind of mentioned earlier in the show. Like, he's paid his dues. He didn't play a lot. Then he became a stud special teams guy. And then when he saw a handful of defensive snaps last year, more than a handful, 500 some odd defensive snaps. And, he's a guy who's not talked about a lot in this defense, but he's a vital part of it. Like you said, he could play both sides, or like you asked him there, he could play both the Will and the Sam, which makes him very versatile. He's a high IQ player. Blake Carroll's talked about that ever since he joined the program when he transferred from Georgia Southern, just how smart of a kid he is and how tough he is. And, man, he just wants to be on the football. I think if he could play offense too, he would probably play every snap. He'd do it like we did all back in middle school, where we played both ways. We're on all the special teams.
Mike Edwards and Zakai Barker, I think, are going to make a pretty dynamic linebacker duo this year. Let's get our final break in. We'll come back. We'll play a cut from JDB, John David Baker, new ECU offensive coordinator, and Blake Carroll if we have time. This is Hoist the Colors.
We're down to the final days of our summer sales event at Greenville Toyota.
Lease new RAV4s, $319 a month. Test drive the redesigned 2025 Camry, all with our advantage.
It's your last chance to save at Greenville Toyota.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time!
Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes.
Yeah, good job! Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Summer is here, and Sawyer's Fun Park is having a toddler summer special. From 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday through Friday, Sawyer's has a $10 2-hour unlimited pass for ages 2 to 4. That's one toddler and one parent for just $10 every weekday morning. Sawyer's Fun Park summer hours are Monday through Thursday from 10 to 8, Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 9, and Sundays from 12 to 8. Book your tickets online at SawyersFunPark.com and beat the heat this summer at Sawyer's Fun Park.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Everybody loves tiebreakers.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Hurry, the summer savings event is coming to an end. Don't miss your chance.
Enjoy your summer in a new Corolla for just $219 a month or a Highlander for only $399 a month. Got a trade? Get cash for it or trade for a new Toyota.
Hurry into Greenville Toyota today.
This is ECU head football coach Mike Houston, and you're listening to Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome in, Hoist the Colors, our final segment here. We have had a busy show. We've heard from former player Kevin Monroe, also the color analyst on the ECU Sports Network. We'll hear from another member of that 99 team, Mark Yellock, tomorrow. He is going to join us some throughout the season as well. He was with the show last year, former ECU D lineman and D-line coach. We also heard from a handful of players. You can check out those full interviews on our YouTube pages, 94.3 The Game, as well as Hoist the Colors. All right, we had our first in-season coordinator press conferences earlier today. We talked with John David Baker and Blake Harrell, along with final comments from Mike Houston. Again, you can hear the full audio online on our YouTube pages. Let's hear a quick cut here from JDB as the Pirates offensive coordinator will be calling a game for the first time live, and he kind of talked about how he's prepared for every situation over the course of his career as an assistant. Here's that cut.
That's the nice thing is just the rooms that I've sat in, being able to, really my first 6 years as a coach, I sat right next to the offense coordinator, and I watched how they prepared. I watched how they prepared for every situation, and then that was one thing. When I went to Ole Miss, I thought we did better than anybody. Is just being prepared for every situation, and we're going to coach these guys up until the whistle, and there's you never stop preparing for the game, whether it's Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, Saturday morning. And so that's just, I've been fortunate in that sense, and the rooms I've sat in, the people I've been around, I thought they did a great job in preparing for games and situations and feeling like we're in a good spot to be prepared for whatever happens on Saturday.
All right, there's JDB, and he also talked a lot about the nerves, and he said more excitement than nervous. He said he doesn't really get nervous, but, I got to believe, Philip, first time calling a game, there has to be some butterflies there, and I'm sure he's got to keep up the fact that he's confident, and I think he is confident in what he's doing for his players. They don't want to hear that their OC's nervous, but there has to be at least a little bit of butterflies for him.
Yeah, I don't know if they've kicked in yet. Heck, it's only Wednesday afternoon, but I'm sure when that comes, it's going to be that same gut feeling that you get with any big time in your life, right? Anybody who played growing up, you know that feeling. It's almost like that the Boys of Fall music video by Kenny Chesney, when, I don't know if you've seen it, where Sean Payton's in there and he's talking about that gut feeling that you get every Friday night. I think that continues on to probably being a coach. I've never been a coach, but I would guess the players are still getting that gut feeling, and I'm guessing that's the same feeling that he's going to have going in that game with a slight little bit of extra because it is his first.
And I think, too, it's the biggest storyline that, we're probably not really talking about enough because we're talking about the quarterback situation and the new offense, but so much about being a good coordinator is about how you call it, how it flows on game day. And we just don't know how it's going to be with John David Baker. I think he's an extremely bright young coach. I think he's going to be a really good play caller in time. But, look, there were early instances in Lincoln Riley's time as a first-time OC at ECU where you could see he was kind of working out the kinks. It's not going to be all seamless right away. He's going to have to learn. Some of it's going to be trial and error. You get the new helmet, Mike. I think it's going to take some time and probably 3 or 4 games, Philip, before we truly know his identity as a play caller, which can also play to ECU's advantage. There's 2 ways to look at it. But I'm just really intrigued to see how the scheme looks, how he calls it, and just how this whole offense comes together.
Yeah, I am intrigued as well, but the interesting thing is, we probably won't see everything this week. You're going to keep it a little vanilla.
Yeah.
Because, A, you feel like you can win the game without showing too much, and also you don't sometimes want to do too much because if there's preseason rust, it shows up more the more craziness you do. So we saw it last week with Norfolk State. A little bit of the rust they had some big-time mistakes that probably cost them that football game. So you don't want to put yourself susceptible to those either.
All right, so we're not going to have the time to get to Blake Harrell's cut because over a minute. We're out of time here. But we do have some big news, Philip. We'll play Blake Harrell tomorrow. Julius Wood has been claimed by the Tennessee Titans, so he will join their 53-man roster. His tape was just too good in the preseason to make it through waivers. The Cowboys were trying. We had Macy O'Donnell, who played with Julius Wood. His tape was just too good. They were trying to get him back to the practice squad. He heard that was the intent, but the Tennessee Titans claim him, and I'm stoked. I figured this was a possibility. His preseason was that good, and I'm glad he's getting a shot.
Yeah, the tapes were there. The maturity's there. The football IQ's there. He's got everything you want in a young man who's going to hopefully be a part of your team for years to come. And, this is great that he's got an opportunity. Obviously, a little bit of a learning curve because he wasn't with the Titans all camp long. But if anybody can jump in and figure it out, it's definitely joyous.
Jalen Johnson has re-signed to the Chargers practice squad. So Jalen Johnson, who famously DM'd us last year during the show about a drop pass, he's now on an NFL practice squad, Philip.
There you go. Happy for him. I guess, hey, he listens, so I'll take him DMing us about what did we say? Somebody else dropped the ball.
We said he dropped a pass that it was somebody else, which is fair. Look, yeah. I mean, I'm just glad that he's listening to the show. Good dude. I hope he makes it with the Chargers. So glad to see Jalen Johnson. Of course, Jaquan McMillan making the 53 with the Denver Broncos. Linville Joseph signing with the Cowboys. Zay Jones suspended, unfortunately, but is with the Arizona Cardinals. So you got a handful of Pirates represented in the league. All right, our time has come. We're going to get out of here on this Wednesday. Tomorrow when we join you, we'll be 2 days away, ladies and gentlemen, from kickoff. We'll have Mark Yellock joining us talking Pirate football, and we'll also visit with Scott Rogers, who is going to be moving on to a new venture. We'll discuss that and more. This has been Hoist the Colors.
Tune in weekdays at noon for all things